Hello and welcome to Maggie's Fun Time. This is Magzie, and we are back in the world of Warcraft. This is my gaming guide for WoW, which is World of Warcraft. That's what it's referred to as WoW. And we're going to show you the interface and the settings and stuff like that, and then I'll probably cut it off, and then we'll start with this mage character, and I'll do a little bit of information about it. Okay, so this is your interface. Up here is your mini map, and this right here is your quest objectives. Now I logged in and I accidentally clicked on this dude here, and some of the quests you get when you click on the dude, you can't decline the quest. You automatically have to get it. Excuse me. This up here is your character panel. Now, anything in here, if I'm not mistaken, you can move it around for the most part. I don't know if you can with the mini map. Yeah, I don't know if you can with the mini map, but on here, if you just right click your thing and come down to move frame, you can unlock it, and you can move this thing anywhere around here you want. Put it in the middle of the screen, down at the bottom. You can put it anywhere, and when you get into a party, you can move those around too. But for right now, we're going to leave it where it is. Also, as default, there's not a casting bar underneath your name. I like to see that, so I'll go ahead and put it in there. If you like it where it was, you can just click reset position, and it's in here, and then it's still locked too, so you'll have to unlock it again to move it again. There's a bunch of other parts. This player versus player lets you enable your player versus player. That lets other people attack you. If somebody has their player versus player flagged, their name above them, see how these names here are blue? Their names above them will be yellow. Right? And that means that their PvP has been flagged and they're on the opposing side. Now sometimes, like this quest dude here's name is green, sometimes your allies' names will be green. That means their PvP is flagged. Okay? That's what that means. Now that is only in reference to actual players and their pets. Okay? So if you see somebody who's from the Horde and you're on the ally and you don't right click on him, because right click will make you start attacking him. We'll show that later when we get into combat. You want to left click on him and it'll show you the details up here about him. And if he's in yellow, if you attack him, it'll automatically flag you for PvP, and it'll set your timer depending on what realm server you're on. But this is a perfect example right here. This dude is flagged for PvP. See, this is a player. He is level 10. And he's went ahead and turned his PvP on. So, if you do get flagged with your PvP at low level and you don't want it on, just wait at an inn or a safe place around guards, and make sure they're level 90 guards. And just wait there your 5 minutes to be up. There's also a couple other ways you can get on a flight path, which we'll explain a little bit later, and fly to another area, and it'll cut your thing off automatically. Now if you go into a new area where it has to load the screen up, like an instant or something, it'll reset your 5-minute bar, so be careful of that. Down here we have the chat window, which I already explained, and you have different tabs here, and you have settings in here too. If the size of the font is not big enough for you, you can change that in here. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the background to different colors using the little color wheel. Let's do that. Let's just for funs and giggles. Let's change ours to green. Click on that, and now you can see it's got a green tint to it. See if we can get, there we go. See how it's got a little green tint to it. That's how that works. You can also change the if you go into settings, you can change each little color for each thing, and you can change the colors for other global chats and here. Now, when you first come into here, these three things right here will not be checked. I like to turn these on because I like to see them pop up in my chat so I can go back and reference them later. And if you mess all this stuff up, you can reset your chat settings by using the default key right there. There's another thing I like to do, and it's under interface here. Also on the trial account, you do not have access to the shop, so be mindful of that. It should be under display. No, social. And right here, you want to come in here and set this thing to new tabs. Now, I have an add-on that saves my whispers, but more than likely, when you first start the game and trying it out on your trial account, you're not going to have this add-on. If you do want to get add-ons for the game, once you buy the game and get to liking it, you go to curse.com. And they have a little a launcher that downloads it straight to the game and handles all your add-ons and everything. You don't have to install anything yourself if you don't want to. So you want to click on this, and then every time somebody whispers you, it'll automatically send that whisper into a new tab. And if you're busy in combat or something, then you can come back later and see what that whisper is and whisper back to them and deal with that later. That's why I like to have that on. As you see, when I scroll over somebody, the little box down here in this corner right here shows up and tells you stuff about that person without you having to click on it. And then if you click on it, his little picture will show up here. So when you scroll over stuff, it'll show you stuff about that. If you scroll over a player, it'll tell you what the player and their level and stuff like that. These are action bars. Now I showed this in another video that didn't come out right. But you go in here to action bars, and you want to not always show them. And what this does is when you put something in them, which I'll show you here. See how you lift this up, and then they'll pop up then. And when you put something in here, only that will show up. The rest of them disappear. So it'll only show up in the little buttons that you use. And what you want to do is stuff that you don't need to actually attack with in your rotation with your classes. You want to put them on the top of your bar here so you can just click on them. And your micros should be up here too if you have any micros or anything like that. Excuse me. Micros are here. What they do is they allow you to change certain abilities up and put them on the macro, and then you click that and it'll cast all those abilities at one time. It's something you probably won't have to worry about until you get into past the basics and get started playing. And there are certain players, certain classes that will require you to actually use macros. I don't use macros ever because I just don't use them. I don't like macros. But there are, if you're raiding or something like that, you will be using macros. You will have to maximize your DPS. Now I will be referencing certain things, but I'll go over that in a minute. Key bindings is everything in here set to a certain key binding. You can come in here and change anything you want to a certain setup. If you got a certain setup you like on different other games, you can set that setup in here and just change these key bindings to those. And if you mess them up real bad, you can just reset it by pressing the reset default. And this is the help menu. You click on it, and it's full knowledge base in here once it loads up. And you can search for stuff and report players. If your character gets stuck, you can come in here and press that button. If you have something that's wrong with it, then you can come in here, submit a bug, submit a ticket, some suggestions. If a player is harassing you or something, you can open a ticket and report them. If you do open a ticket for a player harassing you, or if you think you're trying to get hacked, make sure that you put where you were at the time, the exact location, your character name. Also, if it's a specific player that's hurt, make sure you put their name, the actual name of the player in there. what they can do is they can actually go back to their logs and see what was actually happening in the logs, and that's really helpful to them. Blizzard keeps actual logs of everything in the game, chat windows and what people do, and they keep that for I don't know how long, months I guess, but they keep those so they can go back and look at those. They have to keep those because for resetting and stuff like that, they have to keep information on everybody's characters and all that stuff. And as you can see, it's pretty busy here, so we're gonna go over here and look the other way so we don't get all those names on the screen. This guy here, this is good. These two guys here are actually casters that have the BOAs, which is bind to account stuff, and you can send them to your other tunes if you have the max level tunes to actually buy this stuff. So, but for right now, you won't be having access to that because you're on a trial account. So let's look over here. Okay, so that's the help menu. System changes all your graphics, network, languages, sound, all that kind of stuff. You can click recommended, it'll change all the settings back to the recommended settings. If you have a crappy computer, this is the settings you want for a crappy computer right here. And you can set the view distance up to good because it doesn't really affect that much of your graphics in your computer. It won't hurt them that much, but this other stuff will. So be mindful of that. Make sure that if you have an option to turn shadows off, make sure that's off. In this particular game, they don't have that, but some games you will. You will be able to turn them off on some games. When you set everything you want, you just click apply and then automatically apply. Certain settings will require it to reload your screen, so be mindful of that. It'll cut off, and it'll just give it a couple minutes and it'll reload. Excuse me. This is your other settings. Your interface here. Let's see, display. I do not like for my helmet to show and my cloak to show, so I turn those two off. They will start with those on, so that you can rotate your camera, all the other stuff you like. If you like all this stuff, you can come in here to your mouse, and if your mouse is too sensitive, you can adjust it, and then all that stuff. You can click on this if you're using the WoW gaming mouse, which it's expensive, but if you've already bought it for like another game, you can use it on here. Or if you have a specific mouse, you want to come in here and do that. So some mouses react differently. You can also play with click to move. That just means when you click on the screen and it moves your character instead of the usual move. So, and that's all that. This log out and then exit game. This logs you out to your character selection screen. This one logs you out of the game completely. You have to reload the game. This returns you the game. Okay, so basic controls. Spacebar jumps. You can use the WSD keys to move. Now the A key moves the camera to the left. The D key moves the camera to the right. The Q stripes left. E stripes right. Z pulls out your weapon and puts it up. Z sets yourself down and then get up. And it's also, you can hit this repeatedly, and that's what they call teabagging people. Just so you know how to do that. It's kind of picking on people that get killed. People always getting in the way. Okay. If you press the left and the right mouse button together, you actually move your character around, and you move the mouse left and right to steer them. If you do not want to move your character, you just want to move the screen, there's two ways to do that. If you hold the right mouse button and move it left or right, it'll actually turn your character to face that direction. So it lets you look around, but it actually turns that character in that direction. Well, let's say you're running and you just want to turn the camera while you're running. You hold the left mouse button, and that will allow you to let's turn back around and run back that way. That'll let you look around without actually turning your character. That's how you do that. Also, if you press the number lock button, unless you've changed it, it'll let you auto run. And while you're auto running, you just hold down the right mouse button and you steer yourself by looking in that direction. So that's how that works. And those are your basic controls. Now, all your buttons down here, each one of these slots down here in your action bar is assigned to an action. Let's pull this off. And as you can see, it shows you the numbers here, 1 through 0, and then minus and equals. And you also have 6 slots here. You go up. Excuse me. You should have 6 bars here. It might not show 6 bars here if you put your action bars over here and hide them, so you might only have 2. What you do is you set up the bar for one spec, and when you get high enough, you can get a second spec, and you can set the second bar up for that spec. Also, when you change specs, it will switch your bars automatically to your setup you had on that spec the last time you were on that spec. So that's good. Also, if you go PvP, you can set the second bar up to PvP and the first bar up to PvE. So the first bar will be the rotation you use for running dungeons, and then the second bar you can just switch to that one whenever you're in PvP. So that lets you set those up ahead of time, and then you can just run those dungeons or PvPs, and you can just switch out whenever you need to. Also, if you're playing on a PvP realm, you will want to keep a PvP rotation. Excuse me. You'll want to keep a PvP rotation where you can get to it quick, just in case you get attacked. If you're wondering, it keeps slipping below the camera and bringing up my other menus, just driving me nuts. This is your character information. You can press this. Also, if all these things are key binded to a key, so when you scroll all of them, it'll tell you which key you press, and you can just press that key. So I can just click this button, and it'll bring this up, and I can click it again, or I can just press C to bring it up. And we want to open this. Now, the first thing you want to do on this character, once you're into the game, is you will not be using melee or ranged. You are a spellcaster. If you scroll over spells here, it'll bring up this little arrows here. What this does is it moves this box up and down. What you want to do is you want to move this spell box all the way up to the very top. So then you have your general attributes, and then you have your spells right here, and you will not be worrying about ranged or melee because you are a spellcaster. And also you can move your defense up too if you like, and that has all your relevant stats at the top where you can look at it. Each slot here is assigned to a specific item which you can get in game. Certain items here you probably won't be able to get until you get to a certain level, like shoulders and headpieces. This is your portrait. You can do special stuff up here, and it'll show down in the bottom right hand corner what each button does, and you can go in. If you like seeing your character, you can customize this like that, and every time you come back to it, it'll show it just like that. Up here you have your character stats, which is this one. Then you have a tab, which is your titles, which you will not have at the start, but you can change them in here. And then this is the equipment manager. Now if you have multiple specs, you can set up here by pressing this new excuse me, Crohn's is acting up today. you can set up different gear types, and then you save it into these little slots here, and then you can come in here and click. So if you got a PvP set and a PvE set of gear, you can click on PvE and it'll automatically switch the gear to PvE set of gear. Now you do have to have that gear in your inventory. So be careful. Make sure you keep all. If you have two different sets of gears, make sure you keep those in your bags. Which we'll get to the bags in a minute. And then what you do is you just, if you got something in your inventory here, it'll come up on here, and you just click on that, and it'll show that you want that one equipped for that specific set. And then you'll just hit save, and it'll save it. And then when you want to, you just click the thing and hit equip, and it'll equip it for you. This is the reputation tab, and the only reputations you have right now is the Alliance. As you level, you'll get other factions unlocked and be in those. This one is neutral. You have to actually go and try for this one. The rest of them start out as friendly. When you start getting other currencies besides gold, which we'll show you gold here, gold is down here, you'll get another tab here for currencies, which you won't have to worry about that in this starter edition. This right here is not part of the default WoW thing. This is recount, which you can use to show what your DPS is. It would not. That will not be part of the starter edition. It's an add-on you can get through Curse Coin. These are your mounts. When you get mounts, they'll be in here. Now you are allowed to go to level 20, so you will be able to get some mounts. And I don't know if you can do the pet training, so you'll have to just see on that one. I don't think you're allowed to do the pet battling. This is your starting backpack. It has 15 slots, and you start with a hearthstone that it'll hurt when you click. It'll hearth you to this spot inside this thing here, whatever starting area you're in. So if you're doing the gnome, it'll hearth you back to the gnome starting area, unless you set your stone at an end, which we'll go over that later. And your money you pick up will show down here. It does not put it in your bags or anything. It just collects it for you and shows you how much you got. So it doesn't qualify as weight or anything like that. It doesn't keep a slot up for it. You don't have to worry about that. And you have 4 other slots down here. Now your bags start out with, there is a 4 slot bag, but most slots start out at 6. Most bags start out at 6, and you can just put them in here. And when you get a bag, it'll automatically equip this for you, unless it's a bag that you have to equip it and it binds to you. Excuse me. In which case you'll have to actually equip it into these slots. With that being said, once you equip it, it'll be bind to you and you won't be able to trade it. You can't use the auction house for the most part unless you go tailoring or leatherworking. You're going to be probably buying your bags from vendors around. And the bags go up to, I think, 32 slots. And there's also special bags for professions and stuff like that. We'll get into those later if we need it. You can get your professions. Most professions unlock at 5th level, so you have to be at least 5th level to get them. There are a few exceptions. Archaeology doesn't unlock till 20. You can actually get it and try it out at level 20. So, and your max level in this is 20. You will not be able to level up past 20. So once you hit 20, you're stuck at 20. This button brings up your spell books. You can also bring it up by pressing P, and it shows you your spells and what level you get them at. And the first spell you start out with as mage is Frost Firebolt. And you don't have to worry about much about that yet. You also have special general abilities, which they'll be up here, and all your racials will be up here. And if you got a guild, your guild stuff will be up here. But since you're on a trial account, you won't have a guild yet. All the rest of this stuff will unlock as you level, and it'll tell you what level it unlocks at. This is the clock. I like to set mine for use local time, but server times and local times are not the same, so be careful with that. There's also a timer and an alarm on this thing that you can set. So if you have to get off at a certain time, you can set that for that time. Or if you want to play for only a certain amount of time, you can set up a timer for that too. This button here brings up what shows up on your mini-map. The first thing you want to do is come in here and you want to click Innkeeper, Mailbox, and Profession Trainers, and that will help you out a lot when you're leveling and running around, especially since you're new to the game and you don't know anything about the game. This is your calendar, and there's events on here. It'll tell you when the events in game will be on here. If you join a guild, your guild can put events on here too, so you'll have to come in here and look those up also. And you can change, you can go up here and change. If you want to view the next month, you can go in here and view the next month. Yeah. And you can increase and decrease the view on the mini-map. So you can scroll all the way in and scroll all the way out. If you want to show your character way far back, this is, you can go as close as actually first person view, and you can go all the way out to here, and you just do that with your scroll wheel on your mouse, but I like mine about right here. I think that's about it for now. This is a trial account, and I wanted to tell you one other thing. If you are thinking about starting a WoW account, do a trial account first and try everything out so you know if you'll like it. And if you do like it, trial account is a better thing to go for, because sometimes, more often than not, you can upgrade your account cheaper by going through the trial account than you can buying it in a store and then going for a regular account. Even when you upgrade your trial account, it's the same as in the store. You get your free 30 days and all that kind of stuff. Now there are some like collector's edition stuff, but all those collector's editions can be digitally gotten too, so don't worry about that. And you can upgrade to digital copies online. You just log into your battle.net account and then go to WoW account and go in there. Also, your trial account you use for WoW, you can also play Diablo 3, StarCraft, and I think Hearthstone is on there too on the launcher. I don't know if you can play Hearthstone with a trial. I think Hearthstone is a free-to-play game though, so any game that's free-to-play, you can play it. So, and that's a fun little free game you can play, and it will unlock a mount for your account. I don't know if it unlocks the mount for the trial account, so I might mess on there and check on that, and I'll get back with you on that to see if it does. But just be mindful of that. You could, when you go to your character selection screen, there'll be a little button in the top left hand corner that says upgrade, and you click on that and you can see what kind of deals is going on. And you can go onto the battle.net/WoW homepage, and if they're running deals for the upgrade and trial accounts, sometimes they will post them on there too, so you can see that before you even go log in. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, or you can go onto the WoW forums and log in, and they'll be able to help you out. I don't know if you can go on there and post on the WoW forums on trial, so be careful. I don't know that you can. Just telling you that. If you like this, make sure you subscribe, and it'll tell you when I'm putting out new videos. It'll send you a little notification. If you liked the video, make sure you smack the like button. And I will see you on the next episode.